Oh, okay. So, if you know the coefficient of viscosity, because it is a standard value, sometimes viscosity is given to you, then how can we find out the viscous force if you don't know the velocity? So, for that, we are considering the incident of a rainfall. So, actually, what happened? First rain, first when the first raindrop starts falling from the sky, the beginning of the sky, it is a free fall. Due to acceleration, due to gravity, it is a free fall in the beginning because of the gravitational force. Afterwards, what happens? As it is traveling halfway back, then viscous, viscous force of the air, viscous force of the air, as well as the viscosity of the water itself, it start acting. Then it will try to pull the raindrop backward. So more than air, it is the viscosity of the raindrop is pulling it backward to go back. At the same time, there is also is a Beyond force. You have learned, no? Beyond force is upthrust force. So while the water is about to fall, this upthrust also trying to push the water in upward direction. So total force, total viscous force experienced by the raindrop is viscous force plus Beyond force. Viscous force plus upthrust force. Because upthrust force means it is raising the water above. Correct? At the same time, viscosity is pulling the raindrop also upward. So total resistive force become the sum of this upthrust as well as this. That only for your understanding. So that factor is there. That factor also affecting. Now, what happens? Then how does rain fall? And as it is gradually increase the velocity. So velocity of the fluid is increasing gradually. How much viscous force is increasing, that much velocity is increasing. That is what Stokes law is telling you. Stokes law is telling you how much viscous force is increasing, velocity also increasing. Correct? Then it will increase at a particular point. The gravitational force as well as this viscous force both become equal. So gravitational force trying to pull the raindrop downward, viscous force try to pull it upward. So at a particular point, this both forces become equal due to the increase in velocity. And once it become equal, one is positive, one is negative, it get cancelled. It get cancelled. Then the raindrop attain a constant velocity. So while it falls on the surface, it is falling with the constant velocity. So beginning, initially, it's a free fall. Only gravitational force is acting. Afterwards, viscous force started acting. Beyond force also start acting. So total viscous force become the sum of both. And by the time force is increasing, velocity of the rain also increasing. And we reach up to a particular point, this viscous force equalize with the gravitational force, then they both get cancelled and it attain a constant velocity. We call it as terminal velocity. This constant velocity of the fluid, we call it as a terminal velocity. So in the Stokes law, equation V, that word V is actually is the terminal velocity. Okay. So on the basis of this, you are getting an equation. We equate the viscous force and force of the raindrops, equate together, and you are getting an equation. So we only learn equation. You don't have to go for the derivation of it. Clear? Children, this is the same thing happen in the parachute also. How the parachutists are flying, jumping from the air. There's no guarantee that you fall. Yeah. So, but we invented parachutist by looking at the fall of raindrops. Parachutist do same thing. First, what you do? The person will jump. And you know, while you jump, umbrella is not open. There's umbrella, no? To make the person to slowly come down. So first, the person is jumping. At that moment, this person is experiencing only gravitational force. And as he jumps, he started pulling the button and that umbrella will be open. When umbrella will be open, viscous force start acting on the umbrella. It is trying to pull the person upward. Gravitational force trying to pull the person downward. And as he slowly come down, at a particular point, the both forces become equal and he can slowly come down on the earth. So this is how the principle of parachute. Okay, so it is not only for studying raindrops. We invented parachute on the basis of this. For person who doesn't know the viscosity and all, you cannot invent that, correct? So that's it. And glider, you know, glider, when you go to the beach shore, there is a for the tourist, we have a gliding also, correct? We have a gliding also. So glider also working the same principle. So that's the reason. Clear? So got it? So write down. Terminal velocity. I'm not going for explanation. I hope you understood. Actually, that is not what we wanted. Only understand. You wanted this equation to solve the problem. That's it. So first you should know what is terminal velocity. That I will give you. So write down. Terminal velocity. Next, terminal velocity. The velocity attained, the velocity attained by a body in fluid motion, by body in a fluid motion, the velocity attained by a body in a fluid motion when viscous force equal to gravitational force. Viscous force equal to gravitational force. So it is a velocity attained by a body in fluid motion when viscous force equal to gravitational force. Thus, terminal velocity V is equal to 2a square rho minus sigma into G. I'll tell you what is rho and sigma and all. V is equal to a square into rho minus sigma into G divided by 9 eta. 9 into coefficient of viscosity. Write down. This equation is based on fall of raindrops. This equation is based on fall of raindrops. Therefore, since assume raindrop is a sphere, assume raindrop is a sphere, rho is the density of a sphere. Rho is the density of the sphere. And sigma is the mass density of the fluid. Rho is the density of the sphere, because that's spherical shape, no? That's what, density of the sphere. And sigma is the mass density of the fluid. That means, suppose it's water, it's a water droplets, so that's the one. Thus, Terminal velocity is, thus terminal velocity is, again we are coming to that first equation, coefficient of viscosity. Thus terminal velocity is inversely proportional to the viscosity of the medium, inversely proportional to viscosity of the medium, and it depends upon the shape. It depends upon the shape and radius of the sphere. The case of parachute, it's not fully the umbrella what we open, that is not fully sphere, it's a semi circular thing, umbrella. So that's why I have mentioned shape. In the case of a raindrop, we take it as a sphere. So that is one. Okay. Yes. So under this, one more point, just write, because this is also we require. Now, how can you make out? I think that we will delete. So, okay, let me see. So next thing we are moving on to Reynolds number. And I think in chemistry, I don't know whether you have studied other word, Reynolds number, R. Okay, so this is also is a factor or as a technical term which is related to fluid dynamics. Reynolds number. This also observed by a scientist, Osborne Reynolds. So what is the use of Reynolds number? It will make you simple to understand whether a flow is turbulent or streamline. Reynolds number will explain to you whether the fluid flow is either turbulent or not. Okay. Because every time we cannot look with our eyes and to go and see in the sea whether it's a turbulent or what. So whenever you have seismography and earthquake waves and similarly tsunami and all come, we have to find out how much is the effect of that tsunami. You need to find out how much the sea was turbulent that time and how much it raised on top like that. So in that case, we need to know. So we cannot go to the seashore and see whether it's a turbulent or not. So how can you assess in this particular occasion when during tsunami taking place or oceanic wave, or we can talk about during cyclone storm, and you cannot go to the sea and check whether it's a cyclone or whatever it is. So this is we are assessing by calculating some of the data. So this Reynolds number is helping you. It's a value, it's a number. It will be helping you to assess how much is the turbulent during that cyclone time. How much is the turbulent, the sea, when the tsunami takes place, so that they can find out the effect of it, disaster. So that's the reason for this Reynolds number. So you can write down Reynolds number is it's a value. It's a value which will determines, it's a value which will determine, the intensity of a turbulent flow. Intensity of turbulent flow. And you only learn this equation, that is, therefore Reynolds number RE is equal to rho V D by eta. So this is also related to viscosity. That is why I am teaching you. So Reynolds number rho V D by eta. And I know what is rho, it's a density of the fluid. What is V? It's a velocity, eta coefficient of viscosity of the fluid. And another new term is D. Actually, D indicate the dimension of the fluid column. Dimension of the fluid column. Is it cylinder or is it a sphere? Is it a circular shape fluid column? Or in the case of a object, it is, suppose turbulent flow is due to some object in the fluid. For example, a speed launch. Speed launch is creating a turbulence in the river. So in order to find out, instead of fluid column, you can find out the dimension, what type of big it was, or what type of a ship it was creating the turbulence. So for that only, either fluid column, otherwise if there is in the fluid, if there is another object is creating problem, then you can take the shape. Dimension means any shape. Okay, shape of that. Now, how you understand this? Okay. If Reynolds number Re is less than 1000, if Re is less than 1000, Re is less than 1000, then flow is streamline or laminar. So if Rydberg number, if you calculate, you are getting less than 1000, then you can say flow is streamline or laminar. Yes?
Reynolds number, right?
Reynolds number. Reynolds, Reynolds number. So Re represents Reynolds number. So Re is less than 1000, then flow is streamline or laminar. And if Re is greater than 2000, then flow is turbulent. Then flow is turbulent. And what is happening between 1000 and 2000? Between 1000 and 2000, both can take some time. Sometimes streamline can be turbulent. So there is no steadiness. Assurance is the less than 1000, everything should be streamlined. More than 2000, it is going to be turbulent. There is no change in that. But between 1000, if Re is between, next point, Re is between 1000 and 2000. Re between 1000 and 2000. The flow can be unsteady. Flow can be unsteady, but not turbulent. That means there are slight changes. Still, no problem. Okay. If you are going for fishing, there's a cyclone is coming. They have to check the sea is turbulent, or at what intensity, at what distance you can go for fishing. So that is in Malayalam, they say, no, outer skirts of sea, you should not go. You should fish during the cyclone only inside part. Don't go to Porangadal. We say in Malayalam, Purangadal. Okay. So maybe likely that part may be more turbulent during cyclone and raining time. But still fishing people will go because that is their life, no? So that is why. So that will help you. So how the weather forecasting and meteorological department will give you a clear cut for all this. This is the reason. And similarly, suppose a ship has sunk. You have to first find out, is the sea is turbulent, or is that because of that the ship is sunk, or some mechanical problem. This is some mechanical problem. So for this and all, it's a number. We can check how it is. Clear? So these are the things. So what are the things we have to learn about viscosity is over. Okay. Okay, children. So we can do one problem before we winding up the session on the uses, because otherwise there is no use for you to learn this. Let us do one problem. Okay. So write the question. After this problem, I wind up the session. I know you also tired. So write the question. The terminal velocity. So remaining one we will do in the tomorrow. The terminal velocity of a copper ball of radius 2 millimeter, radius 2 millimeter, falling through a tank, falling through a tank of oil at 20 degrees Celsius is 6.5 centimeter per second. Compute the viscosity of the oil. You know, it is a high denser oil. So when the oil is fallen on the sea, it is not good for the marine species and as well as the ship. So compute the viscosity of oil, density of oil. So this is standard value. Density of oil is equal to 1.5 into 10 to the power of 3 kg per meter cube. Density of copper, because it's a copper ball, no? So density of the copper, it's around 8.9 into 10 to the power of 3 kg per meter cube. Okay. So it's a direct question. One is rho, one is sigma. That's what density of the oil as well as density of the sphere is given to you. Okay. So usually density of the copper is rho, density of the oil is sigma according to the equation. So let us write that equation once again, then we can substitute. So what you have to find out? Velocity. So we cannot use 6 pi eta AB. So in this case, we have to use the second equation of Stokes law. That is, we got it. Terminal velocity is equal to 2a square rho minus sigma into g divided by 9 eta. So cross multiply, what is 9 eta? So you have to find out eta, not the velocity. So eta is equal to 2a square rho minus sigma into g divided by 9v. Everything is given to you. So you can just find out. Copper ball. Copper ball means you can take it as a. So G is 9, V is given to you, A is given to you. Radius 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meters square. You write it out. Children, there's a correction there. Sorry for that. That it is not radius. Actually, there's a mistake in the book. Actually, A is 2 millimeter, not radius. Okay, sorry. A is the radius, not the, sorry. A is area of the ball, not the radius. So it's a direct question. 2 by 9 into 2 into millimeter. Milli stands for 10 raised to minus 3 square. Rho is given to you. Rho is the copper. So 8.9 into 10 to the power of 3 minus, you can write other one. What is that one? Oil is 1.5. 1.5 into 10 to the power of 3. Gravitation 9.8 into 9 into V. 9 into V, it's already given. Falling through a tank of oil is 6.5 centimeter. So actually it is given in centimeter. You have to convert it into meter. So that is equal to 9 into 6.5 into, centi stands for 10 raised to minus 2. So 6.5 into that much. So 6.5 centimeter second is equal to 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter per second. So don't forget that centi, milli, deca. Do you remember all that? Okay, children. So you are getting answer. Do by yourself and you get the answer like this. Okay, 9.9 into 10 to the power of minus 1 kg. Either you use Poiseuille or you can use this equation also. Otherwise, you can use Newton second per meter square also. This equation is coming because on the basis of which are the things is given here. So velocity is a denominator. So it also should be meter minus 1 s minus 1. It's not should be positive because velocity is in the denominator. So it is going to be minus 1 minus, instead of positive we can write minus 1 s minus 1. So this equation is on the basis of this. SI unit is on the basis of this. Otherwise you can just write Poiseuille. PL. We can write it PL. Okay. Okay, children. So I am winding up the session today. So we will meet tomorrow. So prepare yourself well for physics connectivity. Okay. I am sure sir may be giving me tomorrow also 4 periods minimum. So you prepare your mind for that. Okay. It's not a thing to easily you can, what I say, you cannot digest everything in a day. I can understand your difficulty. But you are the people, Corona generation people, can face any difficulty in your life. You proved it, you are still proving. Okay. So physics connectivity also will be okay for you. You are a tough people, tough generation. Keep it in your mind and more make your brain stronger. I can do, I will make a good result. Make your mind and brain to listen to you. That's what we want.